Adlaw sa kanatong tanan, today is September 29, the year is 2025. Ang atong oras karon, alas 10:05 sa kabuntagon, and we are still here, right, Ralph?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. There was this great spiritual leader in India that predicted the end times, the apocalypse, just a few days ago, right? It never happened. It never happened.
There was another prediction at 2012
Yeah.
was going to be the end of the world.
Why,
bro.
why do you think that is, Ralph? Why do you think there's so many people who think that they know anything about anything?
Oh, well. Con. Even though I think it's because tapulan kay ta and we like to think that we know the world na.
Yeah.
We don't like to think too much about it.
And
Ang
also, information is power, di ba?
no,
And
not
if there's something that you know that other people don't know, then they'll try to get it from you, right? And especially kung machambahan mo, kung maigo, masakar sa imong gisulti ang imong gi-predict or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And you get this like mythical
Status.
aura, right? Kuyawa ni Ralph, makapredict man sa kon, whatever. The weather,
Yeah.
for example, right?
Yeah, mahimo na rin kag quote-unquote expert.
Yeah. In fact, I think we were kind of experts in the weather because our event last Friday, because we knew that it was going to be raining and weather was going to be bad. Last Friday, we moved it to Monday, and lo and
Sunday.
behold, Sunday. Lo and behold, Sunday was a great day to do an event.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't rain an inch, right? And it was
Yeah.
perfect,
It was.
right?
It really lived up to the name. It was a sunny day.
Exactamundo. So if you want to know the weather, just ask me and Ralph, right? Right? If
Pwede.
yeah, ask us, all right? We have a secret source, right?
We do.
Right?
We do.
It's not what you think, okay? It's deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not Pagasa or any website, right?
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
we get it straight from the source. We know what we're talking about. And if you want to donate, I'm just kidding. It is now 7 minutes after 10, and Karong Buntaga, we have a very special topic, and I'm very excited about this. We have been talking about this. This has been moved as well many times simply because of the same reason, actually, because of the bad weather. And
yeah,
finally, look at this. In fact, Jed here was complaining about how hot his back is. And that means that the weather is great up here at Tops. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jed and Jen of Revo.
Good morning. Good morning.
Maayong buntag ninyong duha.
Maayong buntag.
Good morning,
It is in fact very sunny today.
Unbelievable,
Very
right?
nice. Very nice weather. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But it was, you have to speak really close to the microphone.
Oh.
Like you're almost kissing it, but not quite, right? Kaya
exactly.
kani siya, murag, that's been spitted on a million times. So you don't want to touch your lips there because you might instantly die, but just close enough without touching it. Did I just scare you? Oh, okay. First of all, daghang salamat sa inyong pag-ari, Jed. I know you guys are busy. In fact, you have to go in a bit, right? First and foremost, I think it's important because we always like to define terms. Kada bang revo ba? Unsam ginade? Unsam man ang revo? Can you please explain to our listeners what is revo? Go ahead.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for that, Jiggy. So Revo really, Reavo. It's kind of funny. A lot of people pronounce it as Riavo,
That's true.
Revo. No, it's really pronounced as Revo. It's like
VO.
VO, and it stands for Rescue or Radio Emergency Assistance Volunteer Organization. So this organization started in 1998 in Manila with a group of friends lang wanting to be, sa radio lang sila, and then eventually became a full-blown fire brigade in Manila. Now, in 2013, when Yolanda hit Cebu, they needed someone to facilitate the relief operations in Cebu. And that's how I got involved and started and founded Revo Cebu. We did our very first operation in 2013 sa northern town of Cebu, Midillion. And we felt it was very good to help friends, mga kauban na to nga naigo sa Bagyo, Yolanda at the time. And after that, we just pulled like 5 of my friends and said, look, let's start doing relief operations. After that, we don't expect na dunay calamity every day, but helping others felt really, really good. And we decided, why don't we get ourselves trained? And eventually, we got ourselves trained into medical response, first aid. And we started responding in the streets of Cebu to help the government as well. No? So, mo na siya ang Revo Jig. So,
That's
ang-
how it all started.
that's how it all started. Ang ato manggong vision before was I'm a professional. My friends were professionals. They were all working, and our vision is to find a way to give back to the community. So we were inviting professionals at that time to be trained. You know, you always have a bit of free time after you come out of work, on your way home. You should be able to do something for the community. So our goal really was, if I have 5 professionals who are trained with first aid, and our vehicles are complete with all the first aid kits we need, in the event that there's an emergency on the road, we would be able to assist the patient already while the ambulance is still coming. And we all know nga it's very ideal for the ambulance to arrive in 5 to 10 minutes. Di man gyud na mahitabo dali. I mean, reality sa tuwa lisod man gyud. So it's very important for individuals who are trained, who are able to help while the ambulance is still on its way. So mo na among goal. And imagine if you multiply that into 10 times more. So now we have 50 professionals scattered all over Cebu, doing their own thing, bringing their own first aid kits. And if something happens, they're monitoring their radios, and we hear that there's an emergency there, we always have a Revo volunteer ready and able to assist sa area.
Naghisgot ka, Jed, nga you started during the what typhoon was that? Sorry.
Yolanda.
Yolanda, right? What year was this, if you don't mind?
2013,
2013, right? So obviously this is the pre-pandemic, di ba?
pre-pandemic.
So akong pangutana ni Ani is you are preparing yourselves for emergencies, right? But mura og naghan kayong mga emergencies karon nga mura og wala pa ta nakasuway, at least in our lifetime, di ba? For example, katong pandemic, di ba?
Right.
That was a kind of once in a lifetime kaning event in the world's lives, and people all over the world, right? So akong pangutana ni Ani, how do you prepare for kaning mga inani nga mga butang nga medyo wala pa ta nakasuway as far as we're concerned, and perhaps lack the know-how. In fact, there were so many decisions that were made during the pandemic that in hindsight were wrong, di ba? So kana mga ani nga mga butanga ba nga kaning mga unique and out of this world tragedies and events. How do you prepare for that?
You can only anticipate as much as you want. No? Lisod man gyud, no? I mean, you mentioned earlier the end of times. And throughout my life, when I was in elementary, there was a prediction that the end of the world will be at what date, and it created some sort of scare. And then, a few years ago, it said year 2000.
Yeah.
When you reach 2000, but that's going to be another end of the world. And then it creates another scare. One thing to note is wala pa man gyud tao nga nakasuway og end of the world in nibalik.
Okay.
Right? So
Although it feels like it's the end of the world sometimes, right? Right? Especially when you're down in the dumps, di ba?
when you're waiting for your payday, end of the world.
Exactly.
The day before the payday.
Just the day before. Yeah, exact the mundo.
Yes.
Mo na gitaw og ting bitay, di ba?
Ting bitay.
Oh,
That is true.
It's always the end of the world.
Yeah.
That is true. But I think as individuals, we just need to keep anticipating what's the worst that could happen. And one thing I can share to the public, because we're so busy, we're working. Now, if you look at ang ato ang typical nga cycle sa working professional, you work, and then you come home, you have dinner, may lang gani if makadungan mo yung family, and then you sleep. And then you wake up again the next day and work. And then may lang gani again, after work, if you have some free time, you do something else. But most likely, you work, sleep, and then weekends, you either sleep, take your family out, and then go back to working. But we always forget to assess, how we our houses, where we live, our homes, and do a risk assessment. So I think one of the things that we need to share with everyone is individually, everybody can do this. Just look at where you live and see what type of calamities could possibly happen where I live. So if you live in the mountains, layo ka sa flood, but you have another set, landslide, mo problema. If you live sa beach area, layo ka sa landslide, pero posible sad ka sa mga storm surges or tsunami and all that stuff. So there are different risks wherever you live. So you need to be able to assess that. And then, what are you going to do if that happens? In the event, in the unlikely event that it will happen, are you prepared? And if not, what are you going to do to prepare? Here's a very, very simple question I ask my friends, mostly working professionals. So we're all out here, like you, Jiggy, you're out here, you're working, and our kids are left at home. If something happens to our kids at home, isa may mutabang nila. Then we say, well, I have the yaya there. I have we have a house help that's there. Okay, but are they trained on first aid? And then we start thinking, bitaw, no, they're not. They can use the phone and call for help, but how many minutes will it take for it to arrive? So what Revo is really advocating is preparing. Try to prepare in your own houses, and that's why we recruit as many professionals we want to recruit. For one reason, number one, professionals are so busy with work. We want to wake them up to the reality that, hey, nobody's immune to emergency. You could have an emergency at home, and so you need to start looking at this and preparing. Number two, as professionals, it's really nice to be able to share what you have, because we have income, we have means to help others as well.
That is true.
No, so I always tell my friends when we recruit them for Revo, and we say, some people donate to the church, some people donate to mga other institutions, charities, and all that stuff. Well, they're all great, but with Revo, you donate to your own organization, you get trained at the same time, and have fun helping others. No, so you get involved as well, instead of just donating in an organization. You get involved, and it's also a family organization. I started Revo in 2013. From 5 of my friends, it now became about 50 professionals and over 200 youth volunteers with us. My son started with me in when he was 8 years old, and my youngest daughter now, who's 15 years old, and you'll probably get to see her later, started when she was really, really young. I think around 13 or 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
So they start very young, because it's a family organization, and our wives, they become part of it. Because when your husband in the middle of the night gets a call and wants to go out there and help because there's a traffic accident somewhere and you need to help, the wives need to understand what we're doing. So they become supportive of it. So during fires, emergencies, we the ones who are trained to responds to the fire. The next day, the daughters, the wives, they start packing relief goods.
Right.
And they do the relief operations after. So it's a family organization, and everybody knows everybody. Because when there's no emergency, that's when we also prepare and we talk about what else we can do on the humanitarian side. What projects can we have? It's not all about emergency response. It's also helping the community in general. So anyway, very long answer, but that's essentially what Revo is.
Yeah, but my question was preparation for something unique like the pandemic, right? Because this is something that we have never experienced in our lifetime, diba? So how do you prepare for something like a pandemic? And I'm sure there's going to be something else, maybe not a pandemic, but I'm sure there's going to be something else that'll be completely and totally new, because we have all of these different advancements, kaning technology, transportation, air travel, diba? This allows kaning diseases to travel quicker and faster, right? And nobody predicted that except for Bill Gates, and nobody listened to him,
Yeah.
right? So, ang kong pangutana ni Ani, Jed, is there a way to prepare for something that you don't know? I know it sounds an oxymoron, right? But
Yeah.
is there something? Are all emergencies alike? In other words,
No, again, I don't think you'll ever get to see the worst of the worst sa emergencies. No? And it's funny you mentioned pandemic, because in our company, we're very focused on business continuity. And I remembered that being one of the leaders of the company, you need to be trained on how you will handle emergency situations within the company to make sure that the business continues. And one of that was pandemic response. And we've done so many tabletop exercises on
This was
pandemic
before the
response.
pandemic.
This was way before.
Okay,
Every
okay.
year, every year you need to go through a pandemic response training, and you will get a sort of an exam.
wow, okay, that's kind of unique, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but let me be the first to tell you, Jay, I always ace those exams, but when pandemic hit us, I had no clue what was going on. And again, what we
Why is that? Why is that?
because what we thought was a pandemic response that we were talking about was kind of like it's like flu that could affect more than 50%
It was
of the
kind.
office.
It was kind of like that, right?
Right.
It's a flu.
But
Right,
not
right.
as fatal as we saw.
Okay.
in the pandemic, and not as I think that it was way worse than we thought. And even the government applied. And I've spoken to a lot of experts, and even the ones that are really doing this sort of thing in their kanang career said, there was nothing like this in the books. No, walay libro ani. There is no specific manual that taught us what to do during the pandemic, and that's why during the pandemic, klase-klase lang ang gitudlo nga way to avoid. No, there was you have to go and face the sun. You have to heat
Yeah.
up your.
Yeah,
There's so many other practices. no?
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, in hindsight now, Jed and Jen, what have you learned? Because you get a feeling that we never learned from the pandemic. We get a feeling that we're still doing the same old things over and over again. Traffic is horrible again, and we're doing all these bad hygiene practices again. At least some people that I see, and we've stopped wearing masks and we stopped washing our hands, and so on and so forth. It doesn't seem like we've learned anything from that tumultuous time in our lives. That was traumatic, right? But still, we didn't learn. So, from you guys, because this is your thing, right? Emergency preparedness. What can we do better next time around?
As individuals, you just have to go back to the basics.
Okay.
It was an infection. How do we protect ourselves from that? The best way to do it is to protect the host. Make the host resistant to any kind of infection. How do we do that? How do you do that, Sir Jiggy? You eat well?
You mean the host, meaning me, the host?
Me, yes.
Or the person?
The person,
Okay.
the individual.
Okay.
Live healthy.
Okay.
You sleep well. You eat well. That's how you make the host strong
Okay.
and resistant to any kind of infection. We get the vaccines that we need on a day regularly. We also limit mode of transmission, just like the daily washing of hands. Not just daily, no. You wash your hands as needed, right? And you mentioned earlier, people stopped doing the protocols because we thought the pandemic is over. COVID is still here. We're even getting reports that there's an increase in COVID admissions lately, but it isn't as fatal as it was because we already know how to deal with it, right? But as individuals, we have to go back to the basics, protect ourselves, prepare our families, what to do, where to evacuate if there's a need to, what is our protocol within the family when somebody gets infected. How do we prevent more transmission or the spread within the family and within the community? So that's it. And on the bigger side, our healthcare system really needs an overhaul.
Yeah.
We saw how the emergency rooms were packed. My mother had the Delta variant, and we were number 200 in the ER.
In the wait list.
In the wait list.
Okay.
Imagine that. We could have lost her because of that. But thanks to Rafi and Revo, they were able to provide oxygen at home, and that prolonged.
So you went home instead of lining up because you were number 200? Is that what happened
Because
to you
we were number
personally?
200, we couldn't get to the emergency room right away. So there was a new program launched by Rafi, but Ramon Abidas Foundation Incorporated
Okay.
with Revo.
Okay.
We provided oxygen tanks to individuals with COVID while waiting for admission.
Okay.
Just so we can provide. Well, what happened with COVID was the oxygen saturation really dropped really low to fatal numbers. So the oxygen helped bring up the oxygen saturation, the tanks, and they were given for free. So yeah, without volunteer organizations like this and foundations like Rafi, there's probably more fatalities during the COVID situation. So healthcare needs an overhaul. We need more funding. We need legislation to better respond to it. And yeah, that's already beyond our control, but let's get it out there.
Yeah. So kaning COVID, hopefully it won't be happening in the near future, but we will never know, right? It could happen tomorrow.
That's
but
true.
we will never know because that's just the nature of this of emergencies. We'll never know, right?
That's right. That is right. And I personally felt that there was a delay in closing our borders,
I
somehow.
when you think about it, COVID is just one big example, and it was a big wake-up call for everybody. I think to go back to your question, Jake, what do we need? It's really mindset. People have to change our mindset because our mindset, kung di maguba, don't fix it.
That's true.
Right? And I remembered, ang concept magod with preparedness is you always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And I always keep it in my mind, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And in every little thing we do, we need to apply that mindset. I'll give you an example. Sa balay, you go back and say, well, I don't have a fire extinguisher. It's okay, wa pa man gyud ni nasunog, sukad-sukad diri. But when are you gonna buy a fire extinguisher kung masunog na? No? You have your kanang light bulb fixed. You know it's already a little bit unsafe, pero main ka nga, okay ra. Kay so far, wa pa man gyud na naunsa, dugay naman na, wa pa man naunsa. And that's our mindset. No? That is our mindset. You drive a car, your tires are so worn out, and you start thinking, okay ra, wa pa man gyud na nabuslot, dugay na akong gigamit. But you're not thinking of what could possibly happen.
Yeah,
No?
we become complacent.
We become complacent. And classically, Nishad, it could be the COVID pandemic today, it could be a natural calamity tomorrow, it could be anything else. But if we have the same mindset, di kita mo prepare.
Yeah. They saying tragedies happen because we think every day is the same. And it's also recency bias, meaning to say nga kung gahapon inaron then ugma pareha ra gyapon. Diba? That's always our mindset, right? Nga pareha ra tanan, every day is the same, but that's why tragedies strike, diba? Because we think everything's going to be the same. But there's also mura og a kind of unhealthy kaning phobia. Maybe mura betag nasubraan na pod siya ba nga mura siya og ganing what's the term for that?
Paranoia.
Paranoid na ka, mura kag ganing what's that person hypochondriac maybe mura kag ganing maratol na ba nga wa nakakabaon sa buhaton kay you think the emergency is happening now, you know. Kanang mga doomsday preppers panalitan, di ba nga mag-andam sila sa doomsday, di ba Ralph?
Yeah.
Daghan kayo sila nga magnaslay
Underground. Bunkers.
na yung mga tangke na sa ilawom sa ilang mga balay and so on and so forth, right? I remember one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain. He said, "I am an old man and I have learned many tragedies and none of them ever happened." I am an old man. I have heard of great many tragedies and none of them ever happened. So, unsa man gyud healthy mix of preparation but not murag becoming like a doomsday prepper.
Striking the balance is very, very tricky.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
I think that's a very good question because you can never be too prepared. And if you over prepare, mo na mahimo na kang paranoid.
And
Striking the right balance.
How do you do
is
that?
very
Like unsa man na nimo?
make sure that what you're doing does not disrupt your relationships.
Ngana naman kay tangki sa imong garahe diya, sir.
Make sure it doesn't isolate you from people.
I think be prepared pero still be connected with reality.
Okay.
And also monitor statistics,
Okay.
identify, rationalize everything. So, again, you can never be too prepared, but understand that if this happens, what's going to be your plan B, plan C, plan D. Also, Jigs, being prepared to a certain extent gives you that peace of mind that if this happens, it's okay because I'm prepared. So, mo nang very tricky kaya na siya, no? Because sometimes people go overboard. They over-prepare and di na po siya healthy. I agree with you. It's not. I don't think there's a
Especially now
formula.
ba nga, we have all of these information bubbles bitaw. Nga tanaw nimo nga normal na nang naakay kaning napo ka kaning canyon sa imuhang kwarto.
And safe na ka.
Safe na ka kay basig na lain nga na alien nga moabot diri whatever ba. So and then we are stuck in our bubbles. We think that's normal,
Yep.
right? And lisod kay nastanan. So you're right. I think kanang mga statistics siguro and you have to know where you get your information siguro is also legitimate, right?
Yes.
But I think being a part of a volunteer group like this is one of the ways for you to murag temper your kaning expectations ba of what can possibly happen because you're in that business, right? You're in the business of predicting kaning calamities and tragedies, right? Maganda magin mo every single day. In a way, you're kind of paranoid, right? It's your
Right.
job to be paranoid, di ba? Nga, what if this happens? What if this happens, right? So akong pangutana sunod siguro ni Ani is this. Karon sige nag-uwan, di ba? And grabe kayong baha ron, di ba? And it's not just here in the Philippines; it's all over the world. I mean, you have to admit that whatever the newsman is telling you, this is a global phenomenon because climate change is real, right? So, Jed and Jen, unsa man to pag andam aning weather conditions like kanang mga bagyo and floods? You've already done this before. So, what are the first things that you need to prepare and think about?
So again, karon nga sunny day is the right time to prepare, right? We don't prepare
When-
kung sugod ng uwan.
It's the furthest from our minds.
Right,
A kaning a typhoon, which is weird because it's in the Burr months and supposedly, right? Daghan na
Right.
kayong mga inana.
Yeah, I remembered when Odette hit us, Jiggy, again, because we're also guilty sometimes, no? You go back and say, we're in Cebu. Di gid mi maigong typhoon. Normally, musaka na siya.
Protected by
or
mountains,
Yeah, yeah.
Napa Santo Niño.
That
so-
was a wake-up call.
Lingig kayo.
Favored island yun sa Pilipinas, di ba?
Yes, and I remembered, we were already hearing in the news that it's become a super typhoon. We were seeing it, and we were like, musaka palagi na. Later, musaka na. And at 5 p.m., I was driving, and everybody was just like, normal.
Chill.
Why problema? Medyo one gamay, but dili kuyaw kaayo. And then I think around 8 to 9 p.m., really ni pick up na gyud ang hangin. And that's when we realized na igot na gyud ita.
Yeah.
No? The next day, you see the the effect niya, then you realize, buangan na igo gyud ita. No? And that's our common gyud na to nga mindset. So I think again goes back to how to prepare is anticipate na lang gyud ta. What's the worst that could happen? And what's the best preparation you can make? Now, obviously, if you're not able to bring in katimging nakay pila ka tangki sa balay, and you can sometimes you don't have the means to do that, but what's the best preparation you can make, right? If you cannot fortify your house, can you evacuate? Is there another place you can go to? At least you can save yourself and your loved ones. And again, listen, and I like what you said, Jig. It's also understanding where we're getting the information, and that is what we're promoting with the Revo Emergency Operations Center. So we have a new GC because Facebook already gave us a notice that the community GC is going to go away.
I know, I saw that too. What's
Yes.
up with that? So what's going to happen to that community?
July 6th daw. And,
October
so October
6th.
6th, and
Yes.
it will go away. So we've created a new one,
Yeah.
and we've started inviting folks. So if you've not yet seen the new one,
So where's that?
there's
Is it still on Facebook?
it is still
Yes.
on Facebook. There's a new link that we've been publishing in the old GC, so you can now join the new
Okay.
the new GC. And
Okay,
what-
this is the new Revo. This is
right, the
okay.
new one, the new Revo Emergency Operations Center.
Okay.
And we are working on something that will make it bigger, better as well. In partnership with Rafi. So we're working on something that would help the community. We've seen the public's response to it, which is very, very positive. We've seen how everybody is now utilizing this platform and just basically getting informed. So we've seen the effect of social media in helping the community, and we will boost that more. So we have a plan which hopefully will be released early next year on doing something bigger for that. But to that effect, what happens is we want to be able to validate information before it goes out.
That's right.
It's very important. So
I think that's very important.
No
right?
fake
Right.
news, Sir
Yeah,
Jiggy.
yeah.
right.
And it's so difficult now to spot fake news because fake news and any news for that matter is always woven with some kind of grain of truth, di ba? So dili mura pag kaning kung dili ka suhito anang butanga, di jud ka makibaw pananglitan na AI na karon nga si kuan imong idol kaayo nga nigsulti paguman AI dito and
Deepfake,
and then
yeah.
you don't know if it's deep fake or not. I don't karon makasako pa ta ka ang kalimutaw nila mura magkaning murag dense kay tanawon ba. But eventually they can perfect that because that's always been the problem with CGI, right?
Yes.
The eyeballs. But eventually they can fix that. They've already fixed the hair. The hair looks real, right? By the way, hi to Sir Jet 01 and Mom Jen 383 from Joseph Rupert.
Wow.
Good morning. Si
Hello.
Renz Edgar Agapito III og si Nugent Sanchez Santa Teresa regard to 01 and 3 883 kaning mga numero mo ning inyong mga
Call
sa
signs.
call signs sa radio,
Correct.
sa radio,
Yes,
di ba?
sa
Kaning
radio, yes.
what do you call it? VHF ba na siya?
We're operating on the UHF.
UHF
frequencies, yes.
frequency. So that's how you communicate, right?
Correct.
So kaning Revo is a volunteer group, and it sounds very vibrant. It sounds very alive. It sounds very up to date also, right? Akong pangutana ni Ani, if we have a listener out there who wants to be a part of Revo, unsaon man ako?
They can send a message to the Revo Emergency or Revo
Revo
Cebu
Cebu chapter.
Revo Cebu chapter in Facebook. They can send a message there, or they can actually message the Revo Emergency Operations Center. So if you're part of the GC already, you can message that. Our operators are monitoring it 24/7, and they will get your contact info. They will actually send it to us, and then we will process. Somebody will get in touch with you, and
Yes.
we'll brief you.
We have a process for volunteers, and we really would like to invite more professionals, no matter what industry you're in. We currently have professionals, teachers, we have doctors, and even BPO industry professionals, because you don't have to have medical background to volunteer. Your expertise will go a long way if you volunteer with us, not for us, but with us.
Okay. So we have a lot of professionals listening to us right now, and maybe listening or watching this video later on, right? Because this is on social media. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook, and also on are you on TikTok? TikTok as well. So natin mga TikTokers po diha,
Wow.
Ma'am Jen, Sir Jed. Akong pangutana siguro niyan is, why should I volunteer? Why should I volunteer? I'm a professional. I have already, I've work to do and all of that stuff, and I barely have time for my family, and why should I volunteer?
It's all about people helping people, right? It's easy for us to blame the government if they are not able to perform and do everything. Pero ang pangutan na, what have you done for your fellow countrymen and even the community that you're in? So I have to be honest with you. Volunteerism is not for everybody. There are just people who just will not fit in this world. And like what they said, this calling is very unique. We spend so much time here. Our families are very understanding. We get the support of our families, but it's not for everybody. However, for those who think they could volunteer and your passion aligns and your objectives, with our objectives, we align, you could join Revo, and that's the ones we want to invite. So we have a lot of people who wants to help, but does not have an idea where to help, what avenue to use. No, ganahan ko mo tabang, but I'm only one person. How can I do it? No, you can come to Revo and be part of us, because you can make a lot of difference. Ikaw, bisag you're just one person. There's always something you bring to the table.
Maayong buntag from Malaysia. Si Ian Chris Meharito na nanaw na to sa YouTube karon sa Malaysia.
Wow.
That's my husband.
That's your husband. What's he do? Is he on vacation, or does he work
He's working.
in Malaysia?
He's working.
So naghisgot ka, Sir Jed, nga volunteerism is not for everyone, right? So who's it for?
It's for those who have the passion, the will to help.
Okay.
The classic volunteerism, man, good. But in our line, it's really helping those in need, helping those who may not be able to help you back. No, helping just helping another person. That's the concept that we have. So again, there are so many people who try to help in different ways. But if you want to be part of Revo, this is about helping the community. This is about helping those in need, especially during emergencies.
Right. And even if they can't be with us physically to help during emergencies, they can donate to the group. And this is what we always say, because every time we help somebody and they become part of it, they become part of the help given to that person. So they save somebody as well when we save someone. So you can be a volunteer, you can be a donor as well.
And if they want to be a part of Revo and just donate or maybe what else can they do aside from donate their time, aside from donate money? What else can they do? What if they have like a facility that you need or something that you need? How does it work? Like and what are your needs? What does Revo actually really need right now in 2025 in these modern times with these modern crises?
Oh, we need a very we need the headquarters, right? So that's what we need now. We have a lot of assets that we need to put in one place.
Yeah.
We need sort of an office in Cebu City, hopefully, because it's the center. Right now, most of our assets are currently located in Talisay, but most of our members are all over Cebu. So we need an office and a place where we can stay in Cebu City. So if we have anyone out there who has a place,
A vacant lot,
a vacant lot that you're willing to,
a warehouse maybe.
right, a
Yes.
warehouse.
We've
right?
always dreamt of having a warehouse
Okay.
for our relief op.
You know, I know a lot of people who
Operations.
own warehouses. You, sir, you, ma'am, Revo needs a warehouse. You can let them put their assets there. That way, you're also safe and sound because I think they've got ambulances and fire trucks and so on and so forth, right? So you're not only lending a hand, you're also making your neighborhood and yourselves safe, right? So,
Right.
but does it have to be in Cebu City? Ideally, right?
Ideally, Cebu
Okay,
City,
okay.
because it's in the middle, right? It's
Okay.
the middle, and we're able to serve Talisay, we're able to serve Mandaue
Lapu-Lapu.
and Lapu-Lapu. But that's what we need. But going back to what Jen said, thank you very much. You know, even Jiggy, even you and Ralph, allowing us to share what Revo is about, and hopefully we can inspire more individuals out there to help Revo. When we get to save someone, you're being part of it already because you helped Revo in some way. So every life we save is also a life that you've helped and you've saved. So that's what we tell everybody. It doesn't have to be ikagi mo handle sa patient. It doesn't have to be naa ka dito. You can support Revo in so many ways, and we've had so many supporters through the years, and we're very happy because
How do you call this? Curate. How do you what's the term for that? Because you have a need and you need to fill it, and you have different needs. So do you talk to the admin, or how does it work, Manjed? Like because you have so many needs that need to be filled, and people don't know how they will fit in the whole equation, right? And so na nako pagkibaongan bagay ko diya.
well, one is if you're an individual and you're just willing to offer your time,
Okay.
you can offer your time. That's a big help already for us.
Okay.
If you have resources, I have dump trucks that you can use I have heavy equipment you can use during calamities and all that stuff. You can offer those to us and say, during calamities, you can use it. And it may not be that you have to give us the truck. It's just that we'll allow you to use it. It's just the network, the connection of people that's willing to help. Or, can I help fund you for something, Jed? Is there something you need? And I have a list of stuff that you can help us buy right now that's going to be very helpful in our operation. So any of those would be welcome sa grupo gyud.
Right.
So from an individual who's just willing to offer his time to someone who's willing to offer resources or to someone who's willing to provide funding for something.
And even simply sharing the community chat that we have on Facebook, that's a huge help. Increase our reach, help more people. Because through the Revo EOC community chat, they can provide assistance and request for assistance, any kind of assistance, medical, fire, even VECO assistance, right? And all that kind of stuff.
Ayaw lang financial assistance.
Ayaw lang financial
mahatag.
So kung ganahan ko nga ang Revo na ako emergency pananglitan, di ba? When is it appropriate to call Revo? Like, of course, you're stationed in Talisay, di ba? So most of your facilities or your assets are in Talisay. So how does it work? Like, when do I need Revo, and when can you actually act on it? Like, unsa man nga lugar siguro, unsa nga kind of emergency too?
So we work with a lot of partners.
Okay.
And it's not always Revo ang modaga ninyo. In fact, we have very little coverage kung mora na mo hunahon. But we always have to work together. We work with the government agencies. We're very thankful with our government partners. They're very good to us. Shout out to our government partners from Talisay, Mandaue, Lapu-Lapu, and Cebu City.
Consolacion,
Liluan. They've always been very, very, very active.
So do you
in
have
this
presence in those towns and municipalities and cities that you mentioned?
No, not necessarily. So if you look at our Revo Emergency Operations Center, we've conceptualized it about 2 years ago because we wanted to make sure that the public has an access to someone that coordinates the response. And I use the word coordinate because when you reach out to the Revo Emergency Operations Center, which is monitored 24/7, and here's what happens. So, Jiggy, if you're, I know you're very famous in Cebu. You know a lot of people in the government, and if you had an emergency in Cebu City, you know who to call. Now you travel to Oslo, and there's an emergency there. Kinsa may mong tawagon dito? And the problem always is, oh, yeah, you know what? Cebu mo to ako naibawaan. But there's so many different towns. So we offered one number to call, one contact center to call or chat that would coordinate the nearest capable agency to help you. Now, it's not Revo anymore, but Revo will be the one to coordinate the response to you. Also, you're in Oslo.
So what's the number?
And we've got our emergency operations center number. Let me try to get that.
You can share it as well.
Yeah, we can share it as well. But our EOC number is
There's 3.
it's 032-238-9388. And again, I repeat that. That's 032-238-9388 for landline. And for mobile phone, it's 0995-037-6060.
So if you need help anywhere in the island of Cebu,
Anywhere in the island of Cebu.
you'll know who to coordinate. At least the Revo will try to coordinate you with the nearest
Correct.
emergency
Unit.
assistance wherever you are in Cebu.
In Cebu.
Kung naka sa Oslo,
We'll coordinate with the Oslo LGU
mangita tag
or kinsa dito.
motabang dito sa Oslo, right?
Right.
Right. So for example, you're in Talisay. Something happens. You don't know the emergency number of Talisay. You forgot. You just call one number, this number, and we will coordinate with the Talisay LGU. And they're very quick in responding as well. Under ni Sir Alvin Santillana, he's a very good leader. Very quick in responding.
So how many units do you have? Like how many municipalities and towns do we have kaning presence ang Revo in the sense nga maka-coordinate rata natay mga contacts dito
we have the contact numbers of all the
All.
LGUs
all over the island of Cebu.
Yes.
all over the island of Cebu,
From tip to tip.
tip
Yes.
to tip.
Wow, okay.
And then the BFP, of course, the Bureau of Fire,
PNP.
and PNP as well, and some of the other major emergency response groups in Cebu. We also encourage volunteer groups as well to be to participate, and that's why we have the radio open to the volunteer groups as well, that they could call in via radio. You could reach us by radio. You could reach us through the mobile phone, through the landline phone, and through Facebook now with Emergency Operations Center.
So you're constantly communicating with your units all over the island of Cebu.
We're communicating with the partners.
The partners,
that
yeah.
are
Your
there,
partners,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Para not like update whatever, right?
Typically during emergencies, and once a year, we have this appreciation night
Oh, okay.
where we give an award to the fastest responding team or
Okay.
the most amount of responses. And we just meet everybody and just thank them for all that they do through our Emergency Operations Center.
And speaking of events, I know you have a big event happening really soon, right? And I think this is an event that is important to Revo. Can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, this is the first time we're doing this.
We've been planning this
We've
for a
been
long
planning this for how
time.
long, and so we've evolved, right? Again, you've got to go back to Revo being just 5 of my friends and now 50 professionals, and we've expanded as we've seen that our kids have become very active. Now our youth group is one of the biggest, greatest thing we have in Revo, and I have to thank all the youth leaders that we have as well. This year, Jiggy, on our 12th year, we are going to host the very first Revo Youth Congress. And this will be a yearly activity from here onwards. And it will be hosted by one of the different schools we have that has strong Revo presence in those schools. This year, it will be held at Sacred Heart Ateneo de Cebu. That's going to be the very first of the many Revo Youth Congress. So we are inviting, of course, our partners to visit, all the Revo Youth volunteers to really sign up and participate during the events. They will have activities that will help them learn, know each other. There will be some fun activities, some friendly competition, and it's an overnight camping activity as well.
Si Northon Carlos B. Uwano, hi to you guys. Hi to Sir Owan and 383 as well. Dakang salamat sa inyo ang pagsalmo sa atong programa. Kung ako usa ko ka eskwelahan, I'm university, I'm a school, right? Ganahan ko nga Revo would like to maybe perhaps activate in my university. Is that possible?
Yes.
So
very
how
much.
does it work? For example, I'm University A, and I'd like you guys to come over and get volunteers. How does it work?
They can contact me.
Okay.
They can contact me, contact through our chat channel, or again through the Revo Emergency Operations Center, and just say, how do I get in touch? I want to do this, and that gets passed on to us.
Okay.
And then we will get in touch with them. We'll brief them, and we'll teach them how to do it. We'll have them form the core group, and then eventually have the members recruited.
This is a kind of a school org.
Yes.
Is that a correct
It is a
Yes.
school org.
term? Okay.
So,
Like a club.
not to divulge our age, but remember the song, the children. I believe the children
our future.
are our future, right? And
I'm not familiar with it.
you're not familiar with that.
I started listening to radio just about 10 years ago.
10 years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is really what it means, and we are creating the passion of volunteerism sa kids palang daan na to, because soon enough these kids will graduate from high school, they become professionals, and they become somebody in the society who will have enough influences and resources to really make a big difference.
So they're a
sa
force.
community. So yes, I think we've got about 6 schools right now. 6 schools that have very strong Revo
And there
presence
are
in them.
more than 6 schools in Cebu. So if you're a school and you'd like to have a Revo over, just contact these guys. What's the contact details for that particular need?
Revo Cebu chapter. Again,
Okay.
you can just chat Revo Cebu chapter, or you can immediately send a message to the Revo Revo Emergency Operations Cebu, or even call our emergency hotline just to inform them that, hey, can you please pass this message along?
Okay. I know you guys have something to do and somewhere to be. In fact, we're way past the
That's
10:30.
okay.
Okay.
Before I let you go, Jed and Jen, somebody once said the Filipino is worth dying for. So my question is the Filipino worth volunteering for?
Definitely.
Definitely. And for Revo Cebu, the Cebuanos are
Are
worth
worth volunteering for. As we say, together we serve.
Together we save.
Wow. Thank you so much, you guys. You have been amazing. The EVP for admin in Cebu, we have Miss Jen. And of course, Sir Jed here, the founder of Revo Cebu and the president here in the region, in Cebu in particular. Daghang salamat, Jed
Daghang
and
salamat.
Jen. And I'll be talking to the Revo youth this time, right?
Yes.
They're all coming up. Stay tuned. Get ready. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Right.
Jay and Ralph. Thank you.
Okay, let's just not put this off the air. Yeah, just continue this. Thank you so much, guys. Maybe you can continue to talk.
All
Just blab away, man. Talk about your love life.
right. What love life? Thank you for your time, guys. Mm-mm. Yeah, and speaking of time, it is now 10:52 a.m. in the morning. Kamusta naman mo diha? With us in a bit, we'll have some Revo youth volunteers to talk to us about what it's like being a youth volunteer for Revo. I'm sure our viewers karon kasagari kay mga Revo peeps as well. Maing buntag kaninyo. I'm sure you'll be familiar with our guests. And in fact, here they come.
What did you do while I was gone, man? What happened?
I just
Did you have an emergency? Did you have an emergency?
no, nag-set up lang jud ko sa atong upcoming guests.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
So wala ka
Some
emergency.
youth. Yeah, wala.
Ikaw, Ralph, like, in your life, what was the worst emergency ever in your personal life? If you don't mind sharing it to us.
Worst emergency. Probably the time nga bata ko and my hand got stuck in an escalator.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Sheesh! So tell me about it. Your hand got stuck in an L escalator.
Yes, my
Oh
hand
my
got
God.
stuck in an escalator.
My
Yeah.
goodness. Was it in the UN by any chance? No.
No,
Which
it was
which
not.
which escalator was this?
It was the escalator sa katong karaan nga escalator sa Robinson's Fuente katong
Oh
kuwan pa
my
kayo siya, katong
goodness.
narrow pa kayo siya.
Oh, and then so what
I
happened?
don't know if you remember that one.
So
Yeah.
so what happened to your hand? Oh my God.
Wala, I just went to the hospital. My hand got torn up a bit and moro to.
Walay na nga bali.
Wala raman.
Nasama dra. Nganong napaong dayon sa man.
Yeah, napaungar dayon sa guard. Kay katong time I think Robinsons was kind of aware of the potential danger around.
What?
So yeah, they had a guard nga stationed sa ubos
So
sa
they
escalator.
were aware nga
Nga
this would happen.
It could possibly happen.
And why was that? There was something wrong with their
I-
escalator?
I don't know if necessarily there's something wrong with it, but it has happened before. Monang there's like an emergency stop button sa ubos sa escalator, and natoy guard that was stationed down there. So as soon as nakadungog siya na inisinggit, gipaong na niya diretso ang escalator.
Ikay ni singgit or imong amahan ni singgit or inahan?
Akong both.
Wow. Kuyawas ah.
Lagi.
My goodness. Ako, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of one right now. But the closest thing that I have as an emergency is when I had like this, when my hair was horrible, like a bad hair day, and there was no pomade, there was no product, and I screamed my head off, and nobody listened to me.
Yeah, that's a very real nga emergency. Jud.
Of course, I'm just kidding. We can't talk about my emergency because that was such a huge emergency. But we'll talk about that when I'm good and ready.
Yeah.
Okay, but I did have a hair emergency a few days ago. Yeah, and there was no product, no pomade, no gel, no nothing. So I could have called Princess or Jaden here, but I'm not sure if they had pomade on hand. do you have pomade on hand, Jaden?
I have a brother, so for sure I have some pomade or some gel on hand.
Okay, what would you have done, Princess, if I had a hair emergency?
Sir, I think
Okay,
we're going to bring you to a hair salon.
a hair salon in an ambulance, right?
Debatable.
Nakipangutana. This is a off topic, but this is about ambulances. Nakipangutana kaning pananglitan ba? Kaning ang driver sa ambulance. Kibaw siya nga alas 3 init ang pan dito sa Julis. Unya 2:30 na ba niya traffic ay sanan. Unya ganahan siya makakatilaw og init nga pan sa Julis. Kay gigutom siya ba? Unya iyang pandaron ang wangwang kanang what do you call that, the emergency light,
The siren.
just to get hot bread in a bake shop, in a San Jose bake shop near him. And if he gets caught, what's the crime?
That's a very good question. You know what?
Pan decide. Well, I'm just kidding. What is the infraction there?
Well, I'm glad. I personally don't know the answer because in
Yeah.
Revo we value the integrity.
Exactly. Yeah, but
So we don't know what happens if that's the case.
because we can't see what's inside the ambulance sometimes,
That's
diba?
true.
Diba? So what if it's just some schmuck who
Who's hungry?
hungry, right?
Yeah.
Or kay ihiun kay siya tanan,
Ow.
right? Right?
Sir, that will depend on the person themselves na.
Yeah.
Okay. They should be aware na that once they ride and drive an ambulance,
Okay.
ethical considerations, don't use it for personal gains.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. Because when you're in an ambulance, you're already aware that, this is for emergencies na.
Okay.
So, yes.
Anyway, mga kaigalaan, just in case you just tuned in, just a few moments ago, we had a chance to talk to the, how do you say this without being rude? The seniors, the elderly of Revo, right? Is that being rude, elderly?
No, it's not. It's not.
The wise ones,
the
right?
wiser ones.
Jen, their EVP for admin, and of course the founder of Revo Cebu and their president, Jed, right? They were both here earlier. So it's time to bring in the future of Revo. That's the
yeah.
present of Revo. And now we have the future. We have Princess,
Yes, hello, sir.
RJ15. RJ15 is her number code. What do you call that?
Call sign, sir. Call sign.
The call sign. And of
Yes.
course, we have RJ11, Jaden. Good morning, ladies.
Good
Good morning, sir.
Tell us about what you do for Revo. Go ahead.
Start.
Okay. So, sir, in Revo, Revo is a youth organization. We're volunteer, purely volunteer. So, no monetary, no anything. So, we fund we bring our own kits and everywhere. So, it's purely on our drive is on dedication. So and service.
Yeah,
I think-
because we're actually the Revo Junior Responders. We're the youth arm of the Revo Cebu chapter. So earlier, to those who tuned in early, you guys saw Jed Narvius, the founder, as well as si Tita Jen. So they are the wiser and the more experienced Revo members, while we represent the youth arm of Revo Cebu chapter, the Revo Junior Responders.
The Revo Junior Responders.
Yes, sir.
So when you're a junior, like unsa man na siyang, is that an age? Is that a is that a mindset?
Oh,
What is that? Because I feel like a junior.
oh,
I feel like a junior.
Chigi Junior.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so here in Revo in particular, the juniors are the 18 and under.
Oh, okay.
So the school chapters were automatically considered juniors.
Okay.
And then the 18 and under are the juniors. And when you turn 18, actually Mantoda and Princess and I,
who did you call her?
I call her Mantoda. It's like a nickname.
Mantoda.
Yeah. In
Oh,
Revo.
That's for another conversation, right?
That's for another conversation.
Mantoda. Okay. What's a Mantoda?
Yeah. Oh, funny story. So
Okay, then we'll have this conversation.
yeah,
now.
I guess
Go-
we
go-
just gotta have it now.
Go,
to those
go
who
ahead,
don't know.
Go ahead, because it's distracting me now.
The
So
lore.
what's a Mantoda?
Right. So her name is Princess Mantos, and she joined
Oh.
Revo about 2 years ago
Okay.
when Josh Narvius, my brother, was still the governor in Ateneo.
Okay.
And when he met her, he just thought, oh, because she's like strict, like the city toda ba?
She's strict.
Yeah, because she's our conduct officer.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, since you're strict like the city toda and your last name is Mantos, we'll call you Mantoda. So it's so random, but that's that. But like going back,
Okay.
the juniors were the younger ones, the 18 and under. We just turned 18, both of us. So hopefully this year we can graduate as Revo ROs instead of RJs.
What's an RO?
Revo operators. So those are the experienced members.
So
The
you
wiser.
you start as an RJ.
Yes.
Actually, how it
There's-
works in Revo, no?
Yeah.
You want to explain the tango process?
So there's a new system. So previously it was just RJ, so the Revo Juniors. But now we have a new system where we have the Tango Juliet.
Tango Juliet.
What's a tango? What's a Juliet?
Okay, so they are like us. Ours is RJ Revo Juniors. They are called they're called the Tango Juliets. They are minors who
Our trainees.
yes, they're trainees.
Yeah, so just like I think in every organization or in every company, there's a probationary period for your members or for your employees. And so here in Revo, we call the probationary members Tango Juliets, in which they have to complete at least a year of service in Revo to be graduated as a full-fledged member.
At least a year.
At least a year.
Is it a year or is it a number of hours?
A
The number of
year.
hours.
A year in membership.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like an entire year of when you joined until the year that the next year. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 18 years old and below, and I want to be a part of Revo Junior, right? So why should I do that? Why should I volunteer? I know there's a lot of everybody has got an agenda, whether you like it or not, right? Truth be told, right? I mean, come on,
Yes,
guys,
that's
let's
so
be
true.
honest. Anis tayo lang tabay, di ba? Namin kita agenda, di ba? Everybody's got an agenda, right? And like I said earlier, during our quick conversation here, we all want to be happy, and helping others is the best way we know how. It still comes from a selfish perspective because we
Yeah.
want to be happy. But helping others is the best way we know how. So my question here is, why should I volunteer? Why should I be part of Revo Junior? Why should I just not play around? Or I'm a kid. I want to just like do kid
I
stuff.
want to party.
Yeah. So why volunteer? Go ahead.
All right. So you want to start this one? Why did you join Revo Mantod? I want to
Bita,
hear it from
Bita
you.
Mantod.
Okay.
Bita ni si Mantod. Okay.
So, once I heard about Revo, I got interested. They're very active. Then I saw that they helped my friend Pud who was injured. I was like, then that's where my interest peaked. I was like, I want to be part of this lagi. So from there, I joined their trainings. I applied from there, and then that's where the spark came in. So the,
The spark.
yes,
Okay,
the
wow.
spark.
Like
spark-
love at first volunteer.
Yes.
Yes.
The
So
spark. Okay.
it's not always that the spark comes directly when you see them. Oh, I want that. No, it is a process.
Okay.
It's once you undergo it, you fall in love with the spirit of volunteerism, and I think that's where Jaden wants to come in.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a very realistic depiction of how it starts, how the spark, comes to us, youth. But I think that the main reason why I feel that the youth should get into volunteerism is because although we can't avoid the fact, like you mentioned, Jiggy, about how we have this inherent like self-interest, or like we have this inherent agenda in which everything we do, of course, that's I think ethical egoism,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So everything we do at least has a hint of wanting to serve ourselves. But I think that volunteerism, or youth volunteerism in general, is a reminder for us youth, because I think it's something that the Philippines really needs, to realize that service can indeed be pure, and that leadership, or being a leader, can be honest, right? So I think that for us youth, especially nowadays with the current issues going on, we're losing a lot of hope in the elders, or the more experienced ones, not in Revo, but maybe in the Philippines in general. And so I think youth volunteerism is an important avenue for us to realize that service can be pure and it can come from the heart. And because we are still young, we're full of energy. And I think there's an author, Robert Herrick, he once said, "Gather your rosebuds while ye may."
Oh.
Meaning, seize the opportunity while you can, seize the day,
You saw it, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I love Dead Poet Society.
Yeah.
Just putting it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's important for us, while we still have the energy, to put it into something purposeful, because everyone gets replaced, and eventually, we're going to get replaced too. And so we're building the future.
It's good that you mentioned that, because everybody's transfixed and hypnotized by the television and YouTube and all of these video clips of the Senate hearings and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
And you can tell yun ba it's cultural. Like whatever it is that we're going through, it's at a massive scale. And don't be naive and think that this is just happening now. This has been happening for a long, long time. And
Exactly.
people say this is really a feature of culture. Nya kanang kultura man gud ba, di ba? We all agree with this man siguro, Ralph and guys, nga kanang kultura dili man na nimo mausab gud overnight good. Dili man na mahimo gud nga you do one thing and the entire culture will change, right?
Yeah.
It's a process, right?
It is.
And starting from a young age, I think, is the best starting point if you want to change this culture of corruption. Don't you think
Yeah.
so too, Ralph? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think if we get the youth more involved in activities like these, I think we're going to be able to facilitate better a future culture of helping one another for the sake of helping one another lang, not necessarily for serving your own kanba, your own personal agendas.
Pero kanang personal agenda ba? Like I always love to say, I'm addicted to this thing called food, right? I have to eat, right? I need to be able to have roof over my head, right?
Exactly.
And doesn't have to be fancy, but I need clothes, right? And I need to get to point A, from point A to point B. And we need so many things, right? And we are in the third world, and you have to be realistic about this, right? Most of our brothers and sisters barely get by. Maglisod sila, daghang kay sila mga panginahanglan nga mga basic needs that we think are basic and we have, but the truth is they don't have it. They have to work for it. It's not assured tomorrow. So akong pangutana ni Aniba is this. Unsa man yung pagbalance ay muhang mga actual needs and also volunteerism? Is this only for those that are rich? Para sa mga dato ram siguro ning volunteerism, di ba?
Oh.
Kaya kung wala ko'y roof over my head, ngano volunteer man ko, di ba? So tell me about that. What is who is volunteerism for? Is it only for those that have the resources and the means? Or is it for everybody?
That's a very good question, sir. No, it's volunteerism is for everybody.
Okay.
So even if you don't have the right or the exact resources that you actually need, you could always make one from scratch, because this is where you actually come in, where your creativity comes in. Because say for example, you found a bleeding person, so they need immediate care for bandage, but you don't have bandage on hand. So what you're going to look for? Oh, you look for a handkerchief. So even with just the simplest things, you can make it you can use it to create something and make for helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Mantoda. I think volunteerism is definitely for everyone.
Okay.
There's this certain notion. People often think that the ability to volunteer is actually privilege, and it can definitely be seen that way.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, Jiggy, it's unavoidable. We have to acknowledge the fact that in order to help others, we must first have the means ourselves. So, like, why would you? It's better to, of course, be as successful as you can, or gather as much resources as you can, so that you can help the broader community and you can help more people. And so I don't think, though, that makes volunteerism a privilege. I think that the essence of volunteerism is really just coming from that dedication or that commitment to help others. And so, like Mantoda said, it doesn't have to be in the fanciest ways with your really expensive equipment or your really nice radios or whatever. I think it really comes from the will or the want to help others and to serve others without expecting anything in return.
You said a phrase earlier that struck me. You said service can be pure. What does that mean?
Okay.
Pure service. What is
Pure
pure
service.
service as opposed to service?
I see. So I think to me it's really important to emphasize that what we do here in Revo, most especially our service, it's pure. Because nowadays, most especially with the recent issues, not recent, but the recent surfacing issues of corruption,
Yeah.
I think people are losing their trust.
Nalaglag sa baha.
Yes, exactly. People are losing their trust for those who want to help in general.
Correct, yeah.
And so as volunteers, I feel that people are starting to also think that what we do isn't necessarily pure, because of course there's a hint of self-benefit in everything that we do. But I want to emphasize that service can indeed be pure, because here in Revo, we serve not to gain and we give not to take. So I think that's also very important to remember and to remind the youth that, to serve, you don't have to be in the highest position. To serve, you don't have to have a government position as well. And to serve, you don't have to wait for the budgets to come out. So it really just comes from our own pockets, personally.
When you serve not to gain, you're actually in effect gaining something, because it just feels good helping
you
others.
gain the
That's-
fulfillment
Yeah,
and the ego.
yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
that's
yeah.
something common.
And when you give, you're actually also taking something, because it feels good to give too, right?
Yes.
So it is kind of paradoxical, right? But
Paradox.
yeah, you actually do receive when you give, right?
Yes.
There's just that feeling of fulfillment, and I think if you want that kind of fulfillment, people get fulfilled in a myriad of ways, right?
That's true.
But helping others, I think volunteerism is the perfect way to do it. My question here is, you guys are still in college, right?
Yes.
So medyo, especially if you have like a difficult course, right? I know for a fact that my daughter was a volunteer of Revo, but her nursing studies was just too taxing on her, and she kind of relaxed for a little bit from her volunteerism. So my question is this for everybody in terms of all students across, or should it be for students who have a lesser difficult course? I'm just curious how time management works here, because usahay sad mura og kung busy kayo kastanan, di ka maka-appeal, di ba? Hindi ka maka-volunteer kay naamoy board exams nga giandaman pananglitan, di ba? So how does that work? And kibaw na ka diri sa Pilipinas, di ba? And I think this is true not just here in the Philippines but all over the world. It's really about time, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, come on, if you don't spend time with the person that you love, then they will feel less loved, right? And I can imagine also too for Revo, right? If people don't volunteer at Revo, enough, then you'll feel like, hey, you know, where's Jaden going? Is she quitting? You know what I mean? So how do you juggle between work and volunteerism? I'm sorry, school and volunteerism.
Right. So for context,
Yeah.
we're first going to give our courses.
Okay.
So we're both college freshmen. I'm
Okay.
a business administration
Okay,
major
okay.
in marketing
Okay.
at the University of San Carlos.
Okay.
And I'm currently in the BS Medical Technology in Velez College.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're both in very different courses,
Okay.
but we both have that common love for Revo.
Okay.
And I think that one thing we can both agree on is, in spite of the fact that we have clashing schedules, in fact, it was hard to get here today for the both of us. She just finished your midterms, right?
Yeah, I just came from midterms actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
Oh.
have to get to class after this interview.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So the college life, the struggle between our schedules, I
Yeah.
think that even though time is something that is definitely a challenge for us college students in volunteerism, I think that one thing that we both have in common is that what we learn in school, we can apply in Revo and vice versa. So as a marketing student in the University of San Carlos, I began to think of Revo as a company, not just a volunteer organization. So I think of ways to market the organization to help the broader community, even as simple as looking for donations and things like that in social media marketing, as well as in marketing mismo. I apply my learnings in Revo of service and to give and not to count the cost. Of course, in social responsibility, in corporate social responsibility as well. And in Mantoda's case,
So actually, I'd like to put this out, a very famous quote: "When there's a will, there's a way."
yes,
So
Who said that? Who said that? I
um
completely forgot. Who's that attributed to?
Mr.
I think
Mr. Bean.
Bean.
Did you say Mr. Bean? Mr. Will. I think Mr. Will.
yes,
I think-
the
yeah.
Mr. There's a will, there's a way.
Okay.
So, like what we mentioned earlier, she has to go to class. I came from midterms and midterms again tomorrow. So, when we go back to our dedication.
Okay.
When we have dedication, we put ourselves out there. We always make time for those we love. Say, for example, your mother. You always call your mother. And
You mean Carmela Narvios?
Yes, my
Is
mother.
that her? Marco
Shout out, Mama, for watching.
Marco Haban and Ryan Jerick Miranda. They're watching us right now. And also Northern Carlos Uwana. Who else is watching us?
Let's see. Kira Shanae. So proud of you, RJ15 and RJ11.
Oh, those are actually our Revo Junior responders
Yes.
as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
shout out to you guys, especially those in midterms.
Okay.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in.
While you're taking your midterm.
Yes.
No,
after midterms.
on their vacant spot.
Sige, so
Yes.
yeah, we go ahead, continue.
Okay, so going back to dedication, so we call our parents every day, right? So I believe that when we truly love something, when we dedicate our time, that is okay. So dedication again. So when we are dedicated to something, we truly devote our time to it. So that's where time management comes in, because no matter what the situation is, you always find time for what you truly love doing, and that is why we are in Revo.
Yeah.
You know, just like all social groups, just like all organizations, there's always a social connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can meet new friends, new faces, new people, right? And that can be another good reason to be a part of Revo, right?
Yes.
Is that okay to say? And
Yes,
I
definitely.
just putting it out there, right? I mean, you know, you get to meet people and you get to volunteer at the same time, right? And also, if you're already a grown up and you already have a business and all of that stuff, you can also have a kind of networking, right? And you can actually also meet business connections through your volunteerism, right? That's also okay, right?
Yes, that's
yeah?
okay.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. Kaya basig maingon ng uban nga, grabihara sa danoy, like, you know, it's probably like, you know, strict and all of that stuff. But there's actually a lot of things that you can do and you can benefit from, aside from the great feeling of being part of a volunteer group and helping other people, right?
That's
You get to
true.
meet other people, new faces. Maybe you're the kind of person that is kind of shy, and this may be a kind of way for you to open up, right?
Yes.
Right? And open up while volunteering at the same time. So murag
Two birds with one stone.
win win, right? So I'm 18 years old or below, and I want to volunteer. How do I do it?
Right. So I
Why are
think
you laughing when I said I'm 18 years old? What's funny? What's funny about
nothing's
that?
funny. I think
Oh,
we're just really in a good mood today.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure what
Yeah.
the giggle was all about. Go ahead, continue.
Right. So if you're 18 and below and you wish to join us Revo Junior Responders, you can of course visit our Facebook page, Revo Junior Responders, or you can head over to our Instagram, the Revo_juniors, and you can just it could be as simple as sending us a DM, and then we'll forward you guys to the higher ups to go and check you out to see if you
What
are.
somebody? What do you need to check? Like,
Oh.
are my limbs complete?
I no.
Oh.
You know what? There's no discrimination in
Do I
Revo.
have dandruff? What?
No, we just how it works is that we there's a screening process
Okay.
for the people who want to enter Revo. Of
Okay.
course, we would want to get to know our members before
Yeah.
and letting them into the group, because to carry the name of Revo is also
Okay.
something that's a privilege, you know?
Okay.
And it's not just thrown around. So we have to make sure that the people who are entering Revo are, of course, committed to service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say committed to service, that sounds very vague. So what do you mean? Like, what are the expectations of a of a junior revo?
Right. So of course we mentioned earlier that volunteerism has no boundaries. So
Yeah.
like anyone can volunteer.
Yeah.
But here in Revo in particular, we have to also remember that in this organization, in order to sustain and in order to keep growing, we must also remember that there are rules, and of course our conduct officer can go ahead and give us a little bit of what we have to expect.
So
as
what are the
members.
rules?
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the basic rules we have is acquiring a first aid kit, but of course in order to complete that, we're going to give you a certain time period so that you can acquire those resources. It doesn't have to be complete directly because we understand. And another thing we ask is for your time. Time is what we ask from you guys. So we just need a little bit.
What kind of time?
Okay.
Like 24 hours a day, 8 hours
no.
a day. What?
No, sir. So in terms of time, so say for example, we have duties. So we just ask you to duty. It doesn't have to be always, but most of the time, we would encourage you to duty. And from this, we're going to evaluate. We continue evaluating so that we truly see if the people who are still in Revo are still dedicated to our to our goal. So from this, we're going to continue evaluating the people, and from there, we're going to keep monitoring them and guide them throughout the process. So
Yeah.
if it doesn't matter if you have zero experience or knowledge in first aid, because we are here to train and teach you.
You know,
Yeah.
there is a perception. Naghisgot mo ito inyong EVP for admin si Jen. You don't have to be a medical
Yeah.
practitioner or medical student to be part of Revo. Naghisgot mo kag first aid, diba? That reeks of medical stuff, right? So akong pangutanan ni Aniba is, what kind of skill sets do you guys need for your
Right.
Revo Junior? Go ahead.
Okay, so actually here in Revo, let's go back to basics. What does Revo stand for?
Yeah.
Revo stands for Radio Rescue Emergency Assistance Volunteer Organization. But we also have to remember that here in Revo Cebu chapter, we're not limited to first aid, basic life-saving, and emergency response. In fact, we have a humanitarian division to those who wish to give their time to disaster response, and of course donating their goods to people who might need it more. And then we also have our fire team. So the fire team, they respond to fire emergencies or even hazards, as well as things related to fire. And then we also have our EMS team. So that's where the ambulance is like, that's the people the crew who serve in the ambulance, as well as those who provide emergency help. So Revo is full of these different what's that word that we use? Different teams, right? And so it's not limited to emergency response. So the type of skills that you would need to join Revo, you don't need any skills. I would say you would need the soft skills more, like being a person who works well with the team, being a person who's eager to learn. Because what what's different in Revo, aside from just like casual volunteering, is that we are trained. So we are both BLS and BFA certified.
What are those, man? Those are just a
Right.
bunch of
My bad.
letters to me. What's
Right.
a BLS? I think he's a BLS, right?
Yeah.
You're full of BLS.
Oh,
Yeah, full of it, full of it.
so BLS stands for Basic Life Saving, and then
See?
Support.
It's a good thing.
BFA,
Yeah.
Basic Life
Basic
Support,
life support.
Okay.
and BFA is
Basic
Basic
first
First Aid.
So you get
okay.
trained to do those
Yes.
things.
Yes, we are trained to do that as well as in radio communication.
Oh, okay.
Because in order to help others, we must first make sure that the skills that we have are nurtured.
Yeah,
and that they're
kanang
maximized.
radio communication, but it sounds archaic, right? But the truth is, when there's a crisis, usually the internet goes down, everything goes down,
Mhm.
even the telephone goes down, right? But
Yes.
radio can easily be erected again, right? You can easily put back a tower easily. Just put it on a elevated point, and voila, the radio works, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's very quick and fast to fix. That's why it's important to still know how to operate. We're not talking about a radio station. You were talking about a what is that?
This
A
one.
UHF, right? UHF
Yeah,
radio
yes.
frequency, right? How long does it take to learn how to use that? Does it take a lot of time, ba, or something?
No.
No, right?
It's very quick rester,
Okay.
actually. It took us 1 day.
Okay.
one
one
day
day.
to be trained in
Okay.
radio communication, but I think it
I remember
comes
I had
with
a
practice.
I remember I had a walkie-talkie when I was when I was a child, right? And I remember all I said was, "Roger over, bye-bye." Roger over, bye-bye. I don't know where I learned that, but it's Roger over, bye-bye. But I think my daughter learned that, right? Because that's what she
Yeah.
did. She was cooped up in her room and answering all of these emergencies, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
And all of that stuff. So akong pangutana siguro ni Aniba is naisgot mo to imong amahan og si Jen, si Jed og si Jen. Why did I mention her as your amahan?
Oh, no.
Not it's being
Spill the tea.
I just revealed it, right? Because I just heard you good say Jed Narvios earlier. What?
Uh-huh.
It sounds weird from Jaden Yusuf. Anyway, they said volunteerism is not for everyone, right?
Yes.
So
We countered that.
who shouldn't volunteer?
Right. So if we're gonna be blunt
Yeah.
about this,
Yeah, go ahead, man.
we obviously
Radical
think that-
honesty. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
radical honesty.
Yeah.
We obviously think that anyone can volunteer,
Yeah.
but realistically speaking,
Mm.
if we were to look at it from another perspective,
Yeah.
we also have to think of who are the people that we're gonna not let in Revo, right? So
Yeah.
how we did it when we were still officers back in Ateneo is we conducted interviews
Yeah.
so that we can see the commitment of people. And one thing that we realized is that the people who are not fit to volunteer are the people who don't have that essence of volunteerism, in which they think that doing Revo, or being Revo rather, is
Tiresome.
not just tiresome is one, that they don't see their efforts, like they don't see the importance of their efforts in Revo. But another thing is when they join Revo for the fad.
For the fad?
Yeah, or like they join Revo, one, because their friends are in Revo lang. Or two, they join Revo because they want to walk around with their flashy kits and
Yeah.
uniforms.
And your nice uniforms. I have to admit, it's nice, right?
Thank you.
Right, right.
Sir,
And I like your shoes too, by the way.
Yeah, so we think that some people, it takes time to realize that. Of course, people will be like, "Oh, I want to join Revo because of the uniforms," and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that, right? But if it goes to a certain period in which you don't even volunteer for volunteering,
Yeah.
you lose sight of what your purpose really is as a Revo responder or as a Revo member, then I think those are the type of people who shouldn't be volunteering, because we have this phrase that we say, it's like, they're chewing on your arm,
What does that mean, man?
right? So here in Revo, we give our time, we give our skills, and we give our resources out of our own baons, out of our parents' pockets. We use it to buy our kits and to serve, of course. But if there are people who don't show up, is one thing, and who don't serve, and who just cause like, not really a mess, but like, if there are people who it will feel like they're chewing on your arm if they don't like
heavy.
help. Yeah, it's like they're heavy, like their weight in your back,
Yeah,
na
yeah.
hinuon ba.
Their
Imbes
burden.
nga you can help hinuon, you feel like these people are a burden to you. So it's not.
But
Yeah.
isn't it innate? Isn't that what life's purpose is? Any life, not just
Mhm.
human life, all life want to propagate more life, want to protect life, right?
Yeah.
So akong pangutana siguro is this. I know it was kind of philosophical there. But what I'm saying by isn't that innate? Isn't wanting to preserve life innate?
I see.
Unya kanang mga quote unquote selfish reasons to volunteer. Kanang nice uniform, or you just your crush is there, right? and all of that stuff. I guess anything that'll hook them to be a part of your group. But I think isn't it incumbent upon you to show them what volunteerism is? Isn't that because you've already been there, you're already there, and you've already seen tragedy straight in the eye, and you've helped, and you've made your life matter. Isn't just that's yours, or that's on you to convince people that volunteerism is the way to go, because it is innate. It is in all of us to preserve life, right? I don't know. Am I in my bubble?
Yeah.
Or
I definitely
is
agree.
it-
Okay, like,
Go ahead, continue.
That's
Yeah.
so
can
true.
you instill the essence of volunteerism in somebody who doesn't necessarily have it yet?
Yeah. Thank you for that,
course.
Raf.
Yeah.
So we also think that,
Or
like you said-
doesn't think that they have it yet, right?
Yeah.
Or doesn't think
Because
they
I
have
think
it
it's
yet.
already innate. Go ahead, continue. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
just wanted to make that distinction. Go ahead.
for us youth man good,
Yeah.
we think that we're still cultivating our own values and
Correct.
finding our
Correct.
principles.
Yeah.
So even if people have that innate selfish desire to want to join certain things or
Yeah.
to want to join Revo in general, we think that of course the spirit of volunteerism can be cultivated when you're in the org. So you may not know it yet, but you can find your purpose in Revo. There's this joke going on in the juniors that we say, you find love in Revo.
Yes.
And that is sometimes a motivation for some people. Kay, when my brother was the governor of Revo in Ateneo de Cebu, we noticed that the members were mostly girls. Lots of girls.
Hala.
Right. So, and then the funny
Kamo din
thing,
mga revo nga batch ni Koan.
yeah, because
Because-
they were all boys in the core group.
Okay.
And then funnily enough, when we were girls like in the core group, our members were mostly boys.
Oh no.
Right? So it's something really funny, everyone has different motivations
Correct,
for
yeah,
joining certain
yeah,
things.
yeah.
But in Revo, our purpose is not to have the cookie cutter perfect members. man
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
We're looking for the potential in which we can cultivate
Yeah.
the values of Revo into those teenagers.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to add to what she said. The environment that we are in, it influences. It influences the way you think, the way you act. So definitely when you're in Revo, your environment, you're surrounded by people who are into volunteering and service, then naturally you'll get into it. So
I agree. It's never like a black or white thing.
yeah.
I think that sometimes there are also people who, like when we had our interview processes, like I would say that I see something in this person, and then Mantoro would say, "No, don't let him in. Don't let her in." So of course that's why deliberations come in, and that's why there's a probationary period as
Yeah.
well to give the members this chance to prove themselves that they have the potential to find the spirit of volunteerism within them.
What if you just said, "I don't like him because he bullied me when I was a kid"?
Oh,
I don't like his style because he broke up with my friend.
But you know what? That's the funny thing, because like we also think that
It sounds very petty, right? Sorry, guys. Sorry.
it's okay.
It's high school all over again.
Oh no. You bring that.
Someone's projecting. I'm joking.
someone's reminiscing a little too hard.
Reminiscing. Right. So we also think in Revo, for the parents out there watching this, if you want your child to join Revo, I think it's also important like to look at this from this perspective, right? Let's say that your child is kind of lost. We're teenagers, we're looking for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I think Revo is a great avenue for us to find that purpose, to find purpose beyond just selfish reasons. So if you want, it's not like a boot camp or like what do people like a boarding school like we form you. It's not like that, but it's more of like Princess said, being in an environment where people have the same goal. It's really something magical and something beautiful. So
Yes.
Something beautiful happens if you're in sync, right?
Yeah.
And what you want to do is actually also what you're doing, because sometimes it's always like a kind of mismatch, right? Like you're going to school with this course, but you actually you want to do something else. And I think this is similar to that also, right? Volunteerism. I think I venture in saying earlier, Ralph, we were talking about it. It's actually also, I think, innate. It's really innate. It's just up to you guys to really cultivate that and really like coax that out of somebody,
Yeah.
diba?
that's true.
Right? And sometimes it requires a kind of emergency for them to know and to realize how important
Yeah.
it is to have people like you in Revo to help, right?
Yes.
So the moral of the story, I guess, is you don't have to wait for an emergency to happen to you, because whether you like it or not, I can say this one with a huge degree of certainty that an emergency will happen soon or later in your life, right? Because we all have those emergencies.
Yeah.
So before that happens, know what to do, and one of the ways to do that and to be prepared for that is being part of a group, also, right?
Exactly.
Because you're going to be prepared for all of these
Yeah.
eventualities.
And more than just the skills, I think it's also something to emphasize that you find family in Revo. So we have this sisterhood, brotherhood, siblinghood, whatever you like to call it.
Okay.
Actually, one of our members in the Cebu chapter, he fell ill from
Oh.
a certain illness, and it really goes to show how you have these brothers or these sisters who have your back in times of crisis or in times of when you're facing an emergency. So of course, as Revo members, you have this certain privilege to be able to be the first response. So in case there's an emergency, it's a rule in Revo that when someone calls help or when they need help, a Revo member in particular, everyone is expected to drop what they're doing and to go to that person who needs help. So it really is a commitment, not just to the values of the org, not just to the community, but also a commitment to each other. That as a Revo member, you're a Revo member, I'm a Revo member, we're like sisters, and we always put each other first, as well as ourselves and each other and each other's families as well.
Wow. And you guys are all over the place. In fact, like Jed mentioned earlier, nga naamoy mga contacts all over the entire island of Cebu from tip to tip, right? So may tip sa north ba?
Daan ba?
Daan Bantayan sa Pikas, sa Pikas, ano man.
What's it?
Daan Bantayan and ano?
My geography skills are subpar.
Anyway,
Maybe I need to join Revo
So-
so I'll be able to see the maps.
Santander, di ba Santander?
Mo ba?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
So if they're listening to this, maybe not necessarily now, maybe they're listening, they'll be able to see this video later, and they want to volunteer and be a part of Revo. And my school is not yet part of Revo or whatever. How does that work? And if I'm a school and I'd like you guys to talk to my students about volunteerism, right? Because I think that's an excellent thing, and I know there's a lot of schools out there who don't have anything that is like this.
Yes.
What should they do? Go ahead.
You just need one person with an interest in Revo to start a flame.
Okay.
Okay.
So how does it work? Like, do I need to go to, for example, your Congress is happening in Ateneo? Do I need to go
Right.
to Ateneo to be able to be, be part of it? Or is there a number that I can call? Can you bring us? Can we bring you over to their school? How does it work?
Okay, so first, I love that you mentioned the Congress. We'll get into that in a bit.
Yes, please.
But first, I'd like to address your question. You asked, how can we start Revo, basically?
Yeah.
Or how can I join Revo?
Yeah.
Right? So we're currently in 6 schools. But
Which are? Can you mention
the
the
6 schools. So
Okay.
we have the Revo Eagles
Okay.
at Sacred Heart School, Ateneo de Cebu.
Okay.
We have the Revo Grey Wolves at Don Bosco
Don Bosco.
Technical College.
Okay.
We have the Revo Whale Sharks at Marie Ernestine School.
Whale sharks. Okay.
Yeah,
Whale
unique, right?
Sharks.
Okay.
But
Your spirit.
not just unique. We also have the Revo Saints
Oh, okay.
at the Mary Help of Christian School.
So why do they get to have saints and the others have animals?
Yeah.
Right? What,
Yeah.
what-
We
what-
always-
what is that? What is that?
Hey, it's okay. You know, animals, we're all still creations of God.
Okay.
Same thing, right?
We
Fine, fine.
associate it with their symbol, right?
Yeah, their symbol.
Their
Ah.
symbol.
So like in Ateneo, eagles. So
Yeah,
Okay.
soar high. So
Yeah.
that's why we're called eagles.
eagles,
okay.
yeah. But then we also have the Revotections.
Where's that?
The
Tection.
college of
Institute of
CIT?
No,
CIT?
not
CIT?
CIT or the Wildcats.
Okay.
Yeah.
The College of Technological Sciences.
CTU. CTU.
No.
No,
CTS.
that's not
CTSC.
Okay.
CTSC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you belong to one of those schools, you can look for the Revo representative in that school
That's true.
and volunteer for that, right?
Yes.
And if you want to make your own Revo group because your school doesn't have it yet, what should I do?
Right, so we're facing that right now
Yeah.
because there's no Revo when we went into college. There's no Revo in University of San Carlos,
Yeah.
as well as in Veles.
Correct, yeah.
We talked to 01 about it,
Okay.
and then we we came to this realization that, like Mantoda said, you only need one member to start the flame.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we just have to continue what we're doing. We just need to show up. We just need to continue having that Revo mindset in which we're always ready to help others and to serve others, and the rest will follow. So we're looking into maybe people having this interest. So you see your peers, like you have blockmates, right, who are curious about
Yes.
Revo. Shout out to them.
They're watching right now.
They're watching. Oh, say
Yes. Hi guys. Thank you for supporting.
Right. So when we have these people who are interested in Revo, I think that's where it starts. That's where it all starts. Maybe then you can put up the org at the school, talk to the admin about it. But of course, it all starts with the spark, which we both first saw when we
Yes.
joined Revo.
Because you don't need to create a big flame directly.
Because that'll be an emergency,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's called a fire.
Right.
So you just have to influence the people surrounding you. You don't have to put up the org directly. You don't have to put pressure on yourself. So just influence the people around you, and then it will start growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Because after all, that's how Revo started.
Yeah.
From 5 people, and now we're really big.
yeah.
And I think with the headlines that we're watching these days, I think it is needed more than ever, especially if you're a parent and you don't know what to do with your kids, and you know, even if you're a parent too yourself, and you want to be able to be in touch with our what Steven Pinker calls our better angels, right? So I think volunteering for such a group, I think, is the way to go, right? Because it's very frustrating. It weighs you down sometimes when you see all of these people, en masse, like practically everyone, just looking like or sounding like they've been corrupted by the system, by our culture, right? And
Yeah.
and this is kind of counterculture, if you want to look at it like that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
This is kind of
Wider perspective.
yeah, this is a kind of counterculture that, like Jen said earlier, sir, actually, it was you guys who mentioned it, pure service, right? Service can be pure. You don't have to have anything that you get in return, right?
Yeah.
And I think just to be able to be close to that energy, I think will do you a lot of good, right? And
Definitely.
and because you have a feeling mga bay, sometimes mga everyone is just corrupt.
Gani.
Lagi.
You have that
Yeah.
feel. There's a vibe going on in this country
You lose the
Yeah.
trust
right
bitaw.
now, right?
Oh.
And you don't trust anybody anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you get that feeling too sometimes, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
as young as we
Everybody
are, we all get those feelings, especially.
What are we
Yeah.
going to do? Like if everybody's corrupt, right?
Yeah.
And
Who are
there's-
you gonna call?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
So to be able to just be close in proximity to that vibe, to that incorruptible spirit, I think is a good start.
Mm.
Because I think also for us in the volunteer industry,
Mm.
or those of us in
Industry.
volunteerism, it's also really something annoying. It's something that bothers us a lot.
What do you mean?
The fact corruption in general.
Okay.
Because we put our own time and our own resources and our own skills to help those in need.
Mm-hmm.
But when money isn't put where it's supposed to be placed, and when the people in power don't necessarily fulfill their duties in that sense, it puts a burden on us volunteers to have to use the resources as an opportunity cost. Instead of developing preventive services, or instead of like focusing on what we could do to prepare the community for emergencies and disasters, most especially, we are forced to react in emergency situations, which we feel like could have been we could have been in better circumstances if we felt like there was no corruption, for of course,
Yeah.
as volunteers. Like, it's like they're giving us imbis nga we can use our resources to help others hinuon. We are torn between helping more people just because we are given, like, for example, let me just put it out there, like,
Go ahead.
with the flood issue, we try to use as much resources as we have to help those in need. So of course, those who are, who lost their houses, those who don't really have the means to survive in this crisis, we give our resources to help them out as volunteers. And so when they're affected by these calamities because of the lack of responsibility in our government, then it becomes an issue also, not just for the people in general, but also for volunteers who are pouring their time and efforts in trying to help these people out. So then again, it becomes like, it's like our efforts are almost not wasted is a lack of a good term. But I would feel
in
like
vain.
it's like not that they're in vain. I feel like our efforts are abused in that sense.
yeah.
Naarabi tayo volunteers. There are volunteer groups who can help
Lagi.
these people. So we don't really have to focus on helping this certain community. But then we have to realize also that there are volunteers who put in their time and their money, and imbis nga they can use it to help their families, they use it to help the broader community. So it's something also that I feel like a lot of us should realize.
Yeah. And sometimes they're going to think now we have to gain their trust balik ba, because they're going to think you guys are just volunteering because you have something to gain. And so we have to put more time on gaining back their trust and in helping them. So
Well, but people. There's always something to gain when you're
Yes,
volunteering.
That's true.
that's right.
Yeah, there's always something to gain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with gaining something from volunteering. Just being a volunteer, you already gained something
Yeah.
from it because it feels good to volunteer,
That's true.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Besides that, sir, according to Miss Carmela Narvios, there's something else you can gain in Revo as well, because apparently Miss Jen found love in Revo.
Yes.
Oh.
So Tita Jen, who was here earlier, funny story if we may tell it.
Go ahead, tell us. We like funny stories because God knows both of us are not funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a funny joke though.
Okay.
That was a joke, right? Right. So
Thank
for
you.
Tita Jen,
Okay.
years ago, she found love in Revo.
Tell me
Right.
about,
So
tell
she's
me
the
about it.
inspiration of many juniors nowadays who want to find love in Revo.
Okay.
So what happened was
Go ahead. Love
she found
in
a
Revo.
boyfriend in Revo.
Okay.
So he was actually tuning in earlier. Si
From
Tito,
all the way in Malaysia,
yeah,
right?
all the way in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And then it's so cute because he proposed to her in one of the Revo anniversaries.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not
so
in,
it
not
really
not in an
shows.
emergency, right? Not in an
Yeah, not
emergency.
during an
Not during an emergency.
In the middle of a fire. No.
No, during the anniversary. So
Okay.
it's something really to celebrate, because I think that when you see someone, when you see someone helping another person, that's something that's like, damn.
Yeah.
Like-
that's sexy.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, and then in Revo you also get to see people in their most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
So then you realize that I'm human, you're human, and I don't know, maybe that's where love grows in
Yeah.
Revo. So yeah, that's shout out to Tita Jen
Yeah.
and Tito Ian for finding love in Revo.
Yeah. For some odd reasons, this term propped up in my brain because we don't control our brains, right? This is a really random thought, but I hear the word or the term virtue signaling a lot,
Ooh.
right? Virtue signaling, meaning to say,
Yeah.
like you post stuff, on social media, and you tell people that you're doing this, you're doing that, and you're telling the world that you're a good person, that you're smart, whatever signal that you want, right?
Yeah.
You want the world to know that you're virtuous.
Yeah.
So akong pangutana ni Ani ba, like you said the word pure service. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to pure service, because I think virtue signaling is the opposite of
Okay.
pure service. What does that really mean? Let's go back to that and just harp on that a little bit more than usual. So what does that really mean to the potential future volunteer who will be volunteering for Revo Junior? Go ahead.
Right. So I love that you mentioned virtue signaling. It's my first time hearing that, and you learn new things every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I love about that idea is the fact that we have to acknowledge also that the reality of life, especially nowadays, is social media.
Yeah.
And so in gaining trust or in trusting someone in general, of course, you would trust someone with the credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think virtue signaling, instead of something that could be combative to pure service,
Yeah.
I think it's something that could be used as a tool.
Mm.
Because of course, being someone in pure service doesn't mean that you're doing it all. It's not cliche, okay? It's not saying like, pure service, like nothing, I'm gaining nothing from this. Because to be honest, the more you serve, the more you gain the credibility and the trust also from others. The more you become a credible person in society, and the more influence you will have on others. So I think that through virtue signaling, through showing what you can do for others, you're instead marketing the volunteerism in itself. So you're marketing the org, you're marketing Revo, like, I am trained in this. For example, you show your certifications. I'm trained in this, in that, in this. of course, people will be willing to trust this person in Revo because of their certifications. And of course, in showing, I feel like there's nothing wrong in showing your capabilities for as long as you're not over, if you're not going over your own bound, like, if you're not like bragging about it too much. Then
But
there's
I
nothing
think
wrong
I
with
think
it.
virtual signaling becomes bad if
Yeah.
you're not actually doing it.
anything.
Yeah.
Because
for
you're
sure.
just you're just signaling,
Yeah.
like you're doing it, save the whales, for example, and
and then you don't do anything about saving it.
you know what I mean. That's virtual
Right.
signaling. That
Yeah.
that becomes
That's
bad.
that's
Probably
actually
a very good
true.
example that I can give of virtue signaling. During the George Floyd riots in the protests rather in the U.S. I remember there were a bunch of excuse me.
Bless you.
There were thank you. There were a bunch of what do you call this? Social media personalities who went to the protests and igo lang sila nag-post unya ni hawa dayon.
Oh my god.
Post, take photos
Yeah.
unya ni
And
hawa
and
dayon.
that abounds now.
Yeah.
You know that, right? I mean,
Yes, definitely.
Princess and Jaden, especially with social media now, and you can't see the full picture, right?
Yes.
Even the camera of a phone has a limited view. You don't really know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So you can curate your life, and then people think that you're this virtuous person, but in reality, in the background, you're really just posting stuff,
Yeah.
right? So it's important. This is your opportunity to not just post, but to be able to actually do something about it,
Yeah.
and to be able to do something about it at a larger scale than doing it by yourself. So if you volunteer for Revo, you have the whole armada of Revo, meaning to say you have all the resources, the assets, and the people to help you accomplish the thing that you are just virtual signaling for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
It's funny. Mantora and I talked about this the other
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
how we see a lot of people commenting on the recent issues of corruption.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of people posting about
Yeah.
it. But then when there comes an opportunity to really speak about it,
Yeah.
these people go silent.
Yeah.
And it's something quite funny to us, really, because it's common.
Mm.
There are a lot of people going hard saying, oh my God, why are you not doing this? Why are you doing that instead of doing this? And, teenagers as we can be, we acknowledge that sometimes we have these feelings that we can't control and
Yeah.
then it pours out to social media.
Yeah.
But then we also have to be practical and realize that what we say is out there for good.
Internet's forever.
Yeah, internet's
Correct.
forever.
Yeah.
And in Revo, we truly do believe in turning idealism into actual service.
Exactly.
Into turning it into reality rather than just speaking about it. Because, we may sound like hypocrites right now. We're just speaking about what Revo is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I personally, and I think Mantoda as well, we're proud enough to say that what we're saying is not just virtue signaling. It's something that is we've learned through our experiences, and we have yet to learn so much more in Revo. And I think that having that mindset, humbling yourself in realizing that you also have so much more to learn and so much room for improvement is what really makes you learn more.
And you can't do it alone.
You can't do it
No.
alone.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't-
why you're asking for more recruits, more members, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why you're
true.
doing the Revo Congress, the Youth Congress.
Yes.
Tell me about that event.
Right. Mantoda, you want to start?
Okay.
Tell us what yan.
So-
Princess, go ahead, Princess.
Actually, the idea came from her wonderful brain.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The,
From a
left,
very
the left brain or the
beautiful
right brain?
Both brains.
Both brains.
Yes.
Both brainses. Okay.
Both brains. So what we aimed this, actually our theme this year is Youth United, Service Ignited. So we want to train the youth, and we want to build, foster, we want the youth to be able to hone their skills. We want to
That's
hone their
true.
skills so that they are able to serve more, so that they'll be more confident because
Bairon.
yes, correct.
Kung-
We
kung-
sharpen them.
Kung kutsilyo pa, bairon. Kung lapis,
Yeah.
kung lapis pa, talhan ninyo.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's what's really interesting also, Mantoda, no, is that the school year more or less just started. We're like 2 months, 1 month in. So of course our schools have newly recruited members, and these members are actually like really fresh in terms of training. Some of them haven't even been trained yet.
Okay.
So the Congress is the Revo Youth Congress, the first ever of its kind, is not something to pressure them. In fact, it's like you mentioned earlier, Jiggy, it's a really good event for networking. It's a good event to see people and to meet people who have the same values and purpose as you. So I think that rather than just sharpening the skills you already have through our very amazing keynote sessions with our members, with our speakers, you also get to have this opportunity to build camaraderie within the members as well. So these will be with the 6 different schools that Revo, that we have Revo in. And this will be at Sacred Art School Ateneo de Cebu this upcoming October 11 to 12. And I would just like to take a quick moment to acknowledge the sponsors who made this event,
Go ahead.
who's making this event possible. So thank you so much to Life and Health and to ProLife UK as well for being our major sponsors for this event. Also, thank you to ProDent, a dental clinic, for sponsoring this event. And, hopefully we can gain more sponsors soon as well. But for this event in particular, it's non-profit. So all the everything that we gain goes directly back to the event. And so for the people who are, the Revo members who are still thinking about registering, go ahead and register.
Stop thinking and start doing.
Stop thinking, stop virtue signaling. Just do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly, man.
Yeah. And
Stop complaining about the corruption and actually do something about
there's
it. Right?
no corruption in this one. Like it's gonna be a fun event for everyone.
Yeah.
As the Congress lead, as the Congress director for this, I have really high hopes for this pioneering event. I think it's something that a lot of us can learn from. Like even as juniors, we hope to learn from the speakers, we hope to have fun, and we hope to bond with one another.
One of the things that we talked about here in the show, and I think should be a kind of part of the conversation, is transparency, right? Radical transparency. And I think that's important to start it from the organizational level, right? From you guys, the juniors, right? So do you have anything that makes you transparent and becomes like a maybe part of the training as well, that it's okay to be transparent? Is that part of the whole Revo training or whatever? Is there such a thing that you're doing that's akin to that, like a kind of radical transparency? I'm just curious.
It's not. We're not putting it out there.
Okay.
It's just there. You can sense it. You can feel it
okay.
because I think our members, our former our members, previously members,
Okay.
they are aware of everything that we're doing,
Okay.
whatever we're doing with the funds we have
Okay.
as an organization. They are aware of what we're using it for,
Okay.
because it's for their gain also,
Okay.
because it's for their trainings, for their supplementary trainings and everything. So that's one way of showing our transparency as an organization.
Right. And one thing that Mantoda mentioned, our funds. So in Revo in particular, everything that we earn, like of course, money here in Revo, it's mostly from donations.
Correct, yeah.
Honorarium. So the value of this money, of course, it's very important that we handle it with integrity. Because it's not ours. In fact, it
Correct, yeah.
comes from goodwill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it becomes even more important to handle it carefully. And so how we do it, of course, is checks and balances
Okay.
as well. So
That should be part of the training.
Yeah,
I think, right?
in
It
every
should be-
organization.
that should be part of the training.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I think, like I said, we are trying to combat a behemoth here that is corruption, right?
That's true.
And like you said, like we talked about, and we all agree, it's cultural. And culture is like this thing that's like air.
Yeah,
It's like we breathe. It's all part. We're part of it.
exactly.
So I think to be able to counter that, I think you need to train the kids. One of the
Yeah.
sorry for the term, the younger ones.
That's it.
A radical transparency, and I think that's important.
Yeah, that's very important, especially, if we're going to go and become future leaders.
Correct. Yeah.
It starts when we're young.
Yeah.
And in Revo in particular, when I was the governor, how we like, prevented that from happening is, of course, I don't handle the money. We have a finance officer who took care of the money as well. And even in the Cebu chapter, it's the same structure. But I think structure is one thing. Following it is another. So even if we have the structures right now of, the different legislative, executive, supposedly to have the checks and balances and to make sure that one doesn't get more powerful than the other, if it's not being followed properly, then I think that's another story.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really about instilling the mindset
Yeah.
of integrity
Yeah.
as young as we are, especially in Revo.
Especially young as you are,
Yeah.
right? That's because our brain supposedly when we're younger is more moldable,
Moldable, yes.
more malleable, right? Okay, we don't have any kind of more habits of thinking, but because thinking is a habit. The way you look at the world is a kind of habit.
Yeah.
The older you become, the more entrenched those modes of thinking become. This is not to say that it's not changeable. You can still change that, but
It's gonna be harder.
It's just going to be
That's
harder.
true.
And older people will be. It's going to be difficult for them to admit that the way they've been looking at the world is all wrong, and that's difficult.
Yes.
It's difficult, and even you as a person will find it difficult to believe. What? The world is not flat. What do you? I've been thinking about it as flat from the very beginning, right?
Yeah,
Pero
yeah.
lisod kayo, right? It's kind of embarrassing too, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think it's important we train the younger ones as early as now.
Yeah.
So we'll live in a less corrupt world in the future, hopefully.
That's so
Mm.
true. You know, like John Keating once said, you just
Ah.
have to look at things from a different perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that even as teenagers, we can be very stubborn and
Yeah.
hard-headed with our own personal
Mm.
views on
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
especially as teenagers, no?
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's really important for us, especially the juniors out there listening, to join the Youth Congress, because this is an event where all the youth juniors of Revo will gather. So then we get to look into different perspectives, but at the same time, we get to be reminded of our common goal of service and to learn a lot from our seniors. Lack of better term, to learn a lot from the more experienced
More experience.
members as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
The wiser ones.
The wiser ones,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you know, I think it sounds very cliche, but it's really important for us to be eager to learn,
Yeah.
because once we lose that aspect of ourselves,
Then we get old. Then we get old.
then you get old. Like you
Yeah.
lose yourself in that too.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people who are still pursuing their studies,
Yeah.
even those who are a bit older
Yeah.
already.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you know, like lifelong learning, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to die young at 100 years old.
Mm.
I want to
Wow, how
die
young?
100 years old.
That
yeah.
young. Huh?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want, you know, it's nice to die, and somebody said he had so much life. He had so much life,
That's
right?
so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to die like that, having so much life.
Right. And I
Being a
think
spitfire to the end, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming to my grave. Yeah.
that fire in us, we should never let it go,
Yeah.
especially like the ones that we have when we're young. We should carry it till we're older. And I think that that's also something as juniors.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we're all afraid to admit is the fact that what if we lose passion for this one day,
Yeah.
right? What if we lose passion for service?
And
one day?
wait. You will lose passion for it one day.
Yeah.
For sure, 100. I guarantee you.
Uh-huh.
Because passion is not something that's a constant. It waxes and
Mm-hmm.
it wanes. You have to prepare for that. And I think if you have a support group that reminds you why you're doing what you're doing, then you can hopefully get it back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
believe you me, passion disappears. It really is a cycle. So
Yeah.
kung na kay mga people, because you don't lose passion simultaneously at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes like a support group.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. I think it's all about remembering why you started in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
And like as one of the junior responders or as a junior member, I think
Yeah.
it's really something that scares you, especially when you're at the peak of your passion for
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Then you realize, oh crap, like I'm so passionate right now. What if I lose this someday?
Yeah. You will
Yeah.
lose it.
Yeah.
You
And
will
then
lose
you
it.
will lose it, but what matters is knowing how to get it back.
Yeah,
How to get it
and,
back.
and
Yeah,
it
exactly.
could be the beginning of losing it, because once at your peak, there's no way but down, right? Because
Yes,
it's gonna go down because it's gonna get frustrating. You're not gonna get things done. It's not gonna be the way you want it to be, and so on and so forth, right? So you need a support group. Hey, that this is why you did it in the first place, and being a part of these
Yeah.
fire starters. Would be the perfect place to do that. So be a volunteer of Revo Junior right now. Is this something that's open just for the Ateneo Sacred Heart School students, this youth congress, or how does it work if I'm not
Okay.
from any of the member schools? What should I do?
Okay, so this is actually open to, I like what we mentioned earlier, to all the schools
So,
that
okay.
are participating.
I'm not even a member yet.
So-
I'm from School X, and I want to be a part of the youth congress.
Actually,
does it work?
we have Google Forms set up. Check out our Revo Junior Responders Instagram page,
Okay.
Revo_juniors.
Okay.
We have a step-by-step process over there. You can read it there. And then we also have our Google Forms link just in
Okay.
case you want to sign up and be a part of our event this
Can you send
Yeah.
Can you send me the Google link also?
Sure,
so
I can go ahead
yeah,
and
yeah,
do that. But
yeah.
just to clarify, right? Because unfortunately, this event, the very first of its kind,
Okay.
of course,
that
is
came
only
from your brain. Okay.
it was a family effort, I'd say.
Okay.
It actually came from. It's actually just open
Okay.
to the Revo juniors.
Okay.
However, if you are someone who is not yet a Revo member and you are very interested in the event, of course, all what you can do is contact the Revo juniors page, and we're actually thinking of opening this to people who are still interested in Revo. So you may not participate in the event, however, you can observe, and we'll be treating you guys as guests during the Congress.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're really interested in Revo, let us know. And then we may also forward you to the membership committee if ever you do want to pursue your.
Okay, when is this again?
October 11 to 12.
Okay, so this is a 2-day event, and
Yes.
then what do you expect in the first day and in the second day?
Okay.
Okay.
Very exciting. You want to talk about the program? Just a
Let's
hint
not
of it.
spoil it, but in the
Yeah.
first day we're going to have, the usual icebreakers and everything.
Oh, ice. Okay, I like
Yes.
ice.
We'll actually have 4 keynote
Yeah.
speakers on that
Ooh.
day.
Speakers.
So we're really excited about that.
Who
We
are
also
the
have-
keynote speakers? Can you is that
yeah,
is it part of
sure.
the secret or no?
No, we can name
Okay.
two.
Okay,
We
go
can
ahead.
name two.
Okay.
Yeah, so our first keynote speaker is Mr. Francis Borromeo.
Okay.
We're hoping to have him. We haven't had
Oh.
confirmation yet. He's a very busy guy.
Okay.
But he is also the person who started the Revo Youth.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
So we believe that it's important for him to share his
Yeah,
insights and for us to
absolutely,
learn
yeah.
from him. You know,
yeah.
he started it all, so we're so willing to learn from him.
Yeah.
Another keynote speaker that we have is I don't know how to pronounce Miss Rayla Guego of Rafi. She has been one of the biggest supporters of Revo, and we'd be so happy to hear her insights as well.
Okay.
So we'll have 4 keynote speakers.
And the other 2 are still top secrets
They're
because
top
Yes.
secrets.
of
Yeah.
security reasons, right?
Yes.
Because these people are very much in demand, and if they find out
Yeah.
on the last minute that they're on their way to Revo, they might get pulled out, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
It's very hard planning the Congress already as it is.
So unsa man rasa siya magsugod sa first day and the second day, and then what should I bring? Like, is there like an entrance fee? Is there like a do I have to bring my Band-Aid or my I don't know what?
Right. So we do have a registration fee for
Okay.
the participants.
Okay.
You may check that out on Revo_Juniors. That's our
Okay.
page.
Okay.
Or go to your respective governors who
Okay.
do have the registration link.
Okay.
So after the registration fee, which must be settled before the day itself,
Okay.
we also have the participant delegate kits in which we will distribute to the delegates. And then for you, what to bring, right? So in Ateneo, in the venue, we believe in Laudato Si, so it's care for also the environment. So
Okay.
everyone is encouraged to bring their own water bottles.
Okay.
No
Utensils.
single-use practice.
Okay.
No single-use plastics.
Okay.
Bring your utensils as well.
Okay.
And bring yourself, your sober self, and
Sober.
your ready-to-learn self.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
So
Yeah.
this is a 2-day event, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a 2-day camping event, so you need to bring your tents too.
oh wait a minute, this is overnight.
It's
Yes.
overnight.
Oh
yes.
my God, really? So
Yes.
bring your own tents as well.
Yes,
Yes.
bring your own tents. We're really
Ooh.
excited for
Wow.
that because aside from being just Rebel members who are trained in emergency response, we also like to teach a bit of camping or like how to survive amidst the woods.
Survival
Yeah.
101.
So that's what we're gonna try to teach during the
Oh.
Congress, and then of course a lot of Rebel members are also really talented, so we will have a talent show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a
Talent
mini
show.
talent
Of
show. And then on the next day, we will have our first ever Revo Olympics.
Yes.
Whoa.
So,
So
it's
what are the games?
right. So actually, we're not planning that because apparently, it's the experienced members who
Seniors.
are planning that. Yeah, but how it will work is each school chapter will engage in friendly competition. We'll be put in simulation exercises, or we'll have these situations in which you have to react fast and like how would what would you do in this situation like that. And then the first school to win will be crowned as the pioneering champions.
Wow.
The first ever.
Sounds very
First
exciting.
ever.
You know, I'm wondering when you're gonna have a program, because you're trained in all sorts of emergencies, right? Like for fire, for floods, and all of that stuff, first
Yeah.
aid. But how? When do you think you'll have a program on how to defeat an alien invasion?
Oh, that's something.
When is that? When is that going to be? How to what to do in an alien in the event of an alien invasion? Naka na siya. What do you think? Maybe you should tell Daddy about it, right?
Stop exposing me.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a secret.
Oh no, but I know your friends are coming over.
Damn it. Let me just.
Jaden the alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's gonna bring over all of her friends here and invade this country because we're no good.
Oh my God.
And they're gonna take over.
Oh, you know what? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And you're gonna all be turned into Revo volunteers, every single one of you.
Oh no! What a really bad curse.
And
I think they need help.
Nobody is going to need help because everybody is a volunteer.
Damn it! What a bad society to live in, right?
So once again, why don't you invite them to go to your social media platforms, your whatever, your contact details. Go ahead.
Right, so everyone, to those who are interested once again in Revo or in Revo Juniors, you may find us on Facebook, Revo Junior Responders, or on Instagram, Revo_Juniors. And yeah, how about you, Mantola? Do you want to share your personal, to those who find the very pretty girl next to me, where can we reach you?
You may reach us at the Revo Juniors page. Just find us all there, and we'll see you
at the Youth Congress.
At the Youth Congress, because together we serve.
Together we save. Thank you so much, Jiggy and Raf, for helping us promote the Youth Congress.
So before I let you go, we have a bunch of people to say hi to. Revo Junior Responders, always thankful to the young people who have the mindset to serve others together. We serve together, we save. Libby Coffee. Jiggy Epic Worldview, all about perspective. Libby Coffee. I'm not sure if you know this person.
Whoa,
we live every day. We only die once. Brian McNice says.
Whoa.
And camping with aliens. So cool. Yeah.
Right.
You'll be camping with this alien.
Yeah, right across us, right?
Yeah.
What alien? I don't see
Jaden the alien. In her other life, in her other planet, she once was a singer.
Oh,
And
right.
she has a song. And it's so good to be true, but this is her. Thank you.
My God.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Princess and Jaden.
Thank you, TMC.
Go Revo Junior!
Woo! Mabuhay ang Revo!
Together we serve.
Together we save.